Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday afternoon to you. Sid in the garden again at the moment. Just been having a little bit of a play around, a little bit of harvest. Got a little bit more harvest to do. And it's all for winter garden. It's ticking along very nicely. So this is my little patch of beetroot that the geese and the chooks levelled out. That's recovered very nicely, as has the English spinach, which is in the middle. Not that bit, that's a little bit of fat hen. We don't want that. A little bit of horehound down there, we don't want that either. And some baby spinach on the outside. So that English spinach, I'm going to be able to prick some of that out and transplant into different beds or punnets to hand on to friends or sell in the community store, one or the other. The broad beans in the rhubarb tub are going well. The rhubarb's coming away again now, so my conclusion out of that is the rhubarb does not like my bore water here. It's too salty. So as soon as I stopped watering it and the rain took over, it started recovering very nicely. The carrots are booming away. I did have a little play around. There's nothing in there quite big enough to harvest yet. The turnips alongside. The carrots, the second lot of carrots I planted, they're just ticking along nicely. Those turnips are booming away. The beetroot here is ticking away nicely after being eaten off. And I've left a couple of flowers on the heirloom cauliflower in the hope that it might go to seed and I'll be able to harvest some seeds off it for stuff next year. The lettuces are ready for another pick. Just that little patch. So that little patch of lettuces has been pretty much keeping us in lettuce for the last probably month or so. And we've got more lettuce coming on. So the other cauliflowers are coming away very strongly there at the moment. I'll probably give them a little dose of wormweed later. The kale, I've just trimmed the damaged leaves off the kale. So that's, although it's looking a little bit depleted, I've only left the healthy leaves on pretty much. So that's ready. That'll be ready to start getting a pick off soon. The spring onions are ticking away very nicely. The potatoes, I've now got 2 plants in each box have come through. My little mint plant's still hanging in there in the cold. Doesn't like the cold very much apparently, but it's still hanging in there. The spring onions in the basin are going alright. The chives, I've taken a little harvest off the flat leaf parsley. And the mixture and hodgepodge of stuff in this tyre, so we've got a couple of garlic plants, a couple of broad bean plants, some silver beet or Swiss chard around the outside, a couple of self-sown lettuces in there, and I've got a few onions in there as well. So that's a busy little plot. A couple of garlic plants and the no, they weren't self-sown lettuces, sorry, they're lettuces I sowed. They're coming away very nicely, and the curly leaf parsley is finally starting to move. It's almost at the point that if I was making a small dish, I could come out and harvest a little bit off that for a dish. The garlic plot, I'm going to call that a fail, and what I'll probably finish up doing there now is I'll prick some lettuces out of here and transplant into there. The garlic that I planted as seedlings is going alright, and those spring onions there are going alright, so I may also prick some lettuces in through the middle there where the spring onions didn't go. So the silver beet bed looking very healthy. I've actually just taken a harvest out of there, and I could get another one almost straight away, so I've just got to make sure I can use what I've harvested first. And that harvest, like, I've got a decent amount, and I've also, these are just slightly off leaves, or they've got a couple of insect holes in them or something like that, so these guys will get to have a munch on them. So they're ticking away very nicely too. And coming into the mixed bed in the chook yard, so the beetroot at the back there that was seedlings, that's coming away well again. The onions at the back are coming away. The beetroot that I sowed in seed, there's quite a healthy row of that there, and then the radishes in front of it. We've got another supervisor here today. I've just picked my second thinning of the radishes, so they're quite tasty. The onions, they're ticking away in amongst the clover plants there. I've got a few stinging nettles in here that I've I'm trying to decide whether I'm actually going to weed them out or not, because Mr. YouTube has told me that stinging nettles are what's called an accumulator. It means they accumulate all the nutrients in the foliage, so when you let them grow up a bit, they're very good for making a fertiliser tea or just putting into compost. So they will get pulled out at some point, but whether I let them grow out a little bit first is what I'm thinking now at the moment. And these beetroot plants here are going well. And my couple of little rows of onions down here are ticking along quite nicely as well. So my little winter garden it's being a little bit productive. I'm getting a few little bits and pieces to eat out of it. So this is today's pick. So that's my hand there. So that's just a little handful of radishes. It's a nice basket of Italian parsley and a nice big bunch of silver beet or Swiss chard. So thanks very much for having a look, and I will catch you all next time.